It's not always wise to fight back, but it's always smart to know when you have the strength to do so. Real fans will pay $80. We don't care about the loss, whatever else other nonsense he said. I'm not quoting him directly, but I just know that I was pissed off enough to jump on here and make a video. I defend the game industry time and time again. If you look at my previous videos, I have a lot of things calling out a lot of the BS, but it's time and time again, I'm pointing out the positives. I'm trying to put a positive spin on the situation. People are calling me a fence sitter because I'm trying to see the good in our hobby still and not just take everything as a negative now. But you know what? With a mix of everything that's happening, and now when you have the large CEOs showing you their true faces and their true colors, saying things like, you'll just pay 80 and the real fans will pay 80. You know what? What if the real fans can't afford 80? You know what? Back in your day, $80 was a lot easier to come by. And yeah, it was a lot more. You take into inflation and everything else. But look at everything going on in the world right now. How can you be such a dickhead and come out and say something like that and think that this isn't going to give you all kinds of backlash? Forget him and forget what he said as a whole. That was just the icing and the cherry on the cake. If you really take a look and step back and look at everything, even all the things I've been talking about this year, which are most importantly live service games everywhere, Sony dumping so much money into live service games, Concord failing, this failing, that failing, nothing really sticking, Helldivers 2, God bless its soul, it came out and it was really good, but I don't really see that doing anything much now. Live service is just kind of a dying thing, and everyone's trying to jump on the trend because when you get that 1 out of a million that does hit, it really hits and it makes you that boatload of money. But then when you get the one that doesn't hit, it's, well, too bad for the developers. You guys get laid off. I guess we'll take another bonus and try again. That's not going to fly too much longer, and you can see the winds changing and shifting and things are moving along in these studios, and they're not all just going through that live service thing anymore. Then you got nothing physical on discs. Nintendo coming out and bringing out these Nintendo key cards. Okay, well, in a way, it's kind of a good thing because I can now share my digital games in a way I couldn't before. But in a way, it's kind of a bad thing because all these other big studios that aren't Nintendo first-party developers aren't going to spend the extra money on putting their stuff on carts. They're just going to put it on these key carts, and that's your new physical media. It's not even real. Now, I don't care if some developers are going to put it on, CDPR being cool, putting all of Cyberpunk on one little cartridge so that you can have it on your Switch too and have the game anywhere you go. Okay, that's awesome. But what about the other games? And what about all the other companies that aren't doing that? What about the games that are like 9 to 15 gigabytes and they're not even being put on cartridge just out of pure laziness or pure just wanting to save money? Why is that a thing? Now the prices are going up. Okay, so we're jacking up the prices to $80. We're taking away most of your physical media. We're making fun of you at $80. Real fans will be able to afford it and buy it. We're making fun of you for not being able to afford it. And then on top of everything else, the games that we are making, that we're making fun of you for, that we're saying you can't afford, and if you can, then, that's good for you. Just buy it. On top of all of that, you would think that a game like that would mean it would have to be of some utmost quality, or that means they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. Well, then you go finding out that there's AAA companies still doing things like stealing art. Bungie? Really? So you're telling me that we're at a spot in the game hemisphere, in the video game, whatever you want to call it, zeitgeist, where we have AAA companies stealing from their consumers with live service practices, live service loot boxes, live service gambling, figuring out any way they can to just monetize their fans and consumers. Then you have them stealing from them with their actual work and hard-earned blood, sweat, and tears and stuff they created on their own. They're taking and stealing that too. Then you have them stealing our physical media and taking that off the disc. What else do you want to take? Because there's not much left. What are you guys actually doing at this point? That's what I want to know. Game prices are going up, but it seems like everything all the game companies are doing as far as quality and anything else they're doing is going down. Game prices go up, physical media gets taken away. Game prices go up, we can't hire our own people even though we're making more money and charging more money. We're just going to steal from other people. Game prices go up, live service games everywhere. Let's put more loot boxes, more battle passes, more transactions. Game prices go up. Fuck it. Put them up some more. Like, I don't understand what's next. The industry needs to burn down. And I used to defend it and say that was silly and say that was just for titles and headlines. You know what? It's not. People are outraged because they have a right to be. Game prices go up and we make fun of you for not being able to afford them. Game prices go up and that's too bad. Like, what? I don't even care about the game prices going up if it was actually something quality that we get on the disc, you know? Or if the whole game was even there, but you never get all of it. Maybe with the rare Nintendo game now, we're going to get, you know, game price goes up, but we get the full game on the thing and it's a good game and it's worth playing and it was kind of worth the jump in price. But I don't see any game that's worth that yet or that's can justify doing that yet. Certainly not a Mario Kart, you know? So I don't understand what we're supposed to do or what we're supposed to think or how we're supposed to be happy. Like, I was literally thinking about starting a news segment that was called like Good News Gaming, where we were going to focus on just the good, positive things in gaming, like accomplishments, studios doing this good thing, studios doing that good thing. But if you look at the AAA gaming hemisphere as a whole, it needs to burn down. And yeah, you can nitpick good things about it, but that doesn't justify the fact that there's all kinds of horrible practices going on and horrible things happening, and that it literally needs to just start from the beginning. Randy Pitchford, you pissed me off today, sir. You know, I don't know. This isn't fair. It was a little bit of give and take, you know. They would take our physical media away, but you would look on things like Steam and you'd get AAA games on sale for $15, $10. It was like, ugh. You know, can you really complain? Yes, but like when you go on GOG and get it on a sale and then it's DRM free, you know, okay, like I get it. We're heading to a digital age. You know, as much as I don't like it, I love physical media too. It's, you know, we can't be like grandpa on the front lawn yelling about it. And maybe we can, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make much of a difference. We're heading to a digital age. So we got to look at what things we can do to make that digital age positive, which is things like being DRM free, websites like GOG, things like that. So, you know, I was looking at the positives when it comes to that. But then you look at things like they're stealing the artwork, the live services everywhere. There's nothing physical on the discs. You add it all up, and then you get dickheads like Randy Pitchford saying things like, hey, if you can't afford it, we're sorry, but $80, we think true fans will be able to get it and figure out a way to make it happen. Well, you know what? Now I just look at everything overall and I realize, no, I'm done. Every company that I loved has made some stupid mistake in the last decade, apart from very few. I can't even think of any off the top of my head. And once GTA 6 drops and we get the $100 games or whatever I think it's going to cost, I think everything's going to go up. You know, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Is that the next big like boot in the ass from the video game industry? GTA 6 dropping, prices going up, and then us having to spend even more on games again? You got games like Clair Obscur and the Mafia franchise and things like that coming out for 50 USD and being amazing. And, you know, you see some good examples and some templates being laid down there for the video game industry for what AAA should be and what it could be moving forward. Less inflated budgets, smaller studio teams, less marketing, let things rely on word of mouth. Actually put your quality in your game, trust your developers to do things, not have a bunch of assholes in there that are just bureaucracy, stupid things that you have to talk to this guy to get the message across to this guy to talk to no, you just want to be able to have this artist walk across the room to this artist, be like, hey, I want to put this cool thing in. What do you think? Yes. Okay, it gels. Let's do it. You know, that's why the games are good when you see these small teams, because they're in small rooms together and they're able to actually work together and actually, you know, collaborate properly, not just send an email and hope something comes back and, oh yeah, they said we can do this. Like, that's not a proper way of making games. That doesn't work. It is what it is. And that's that. I think dive more into retro games, pay more attention to the indie games, and vote with your wallet. For God's sake, please vote with your wallet. I've been doing that more and having less FOMO about missing out on stuff. Any game that is $80 now, I promise you, will be at least half the price minimum within, 6 months to a year. So it's just nonsense. Like I said, I'm going to push myself a little bit less away from whatever is the current gaming news, because it's always just bullshit. And I'm going to start to focus more on like the better stuff, gaming overall, and like retro scene and stuff like that, because, all the modern news, if you pay attention to it, is just, we're stealing. We're stealing now. That's what we're doing. We're stealing from our consumers as big companies. That's what you guys have resorted to. And I don't care if you guys say it was a mistake, and I don't mean to keep bringing it up, and I don't care if this isn't relevant in 6 months because it happened and they make some, excuse, or they pay the girl or whatever the case. You guys are literally stealing from people on Twitter now, artwork, when you guys are raising the prices of games and you can't even afford to fucking pay people to make your own artwork at this point, or at least double check that the people you are paying aren't just stealing it. I don't know. So good luck, AAA game industry. I'll be over back here with the indie and the retro folks. I'll be checking in often, but don't expect me to have much good to say. All right. And when there is something good to say, like I did with my Claire Obscure video, you best believe I'll be here calling it out, because I don't want to just focus on the negatives, but you don't give me a whole lot of positives to focus on. So at least as far as the AAA gaming space goes. All right. So there it is. If you stuck around this long, I'd appreciate you being here. This was just me venting, but I'm sure a lot of you can relate to a lot of the stuff I'm saying right now. So, I love you all. I appreciate you all. I'll be back often as I can as far as the AAA space. Otherwise, catch me over here in the retro scene and the indie scene. It's all the same channel, so I don't know why I'm saying it like that. But all right. Okay. I love you all. That's it. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm out. Ciao.